Lorenzo Van Riet on row 6. Then Adrian Schimpf and Ludovico Longoni. And then Nicola Milkovic, Thomas Campan on row 8. Damiano Puccetti and Manuel Fernandez on row 9. Slightly further back, Calvin Comte and Quinto Stefana. That is the gentleman class pole position in 20th. Stefan Polderman and Nikola Tosic. Then comes Benjamin Kova and Andrea Chirichetti on row 12. Cedric Delcroix and Gael Rostin. Michael Carey and Nava on row 14. Samuel Charlene and Michel Fay on the 15th row of the grid. At the back, it's Gabriele Alonso, Jean-Louis Carpentier and Maro Polderman. At the back of the grid, Maro Polderman lining up the back after his car rolled along with René Steenmitz in yesterday's race on the second lap. That's what brought out a red flag and seemingly a bit of a late addition to qualifying with quite a quick rebuild, I would imagine. But yesterday it was our new championship leader, Nicolas Milan, who took the overall win ahead of Anthony Gerardo and David Pouget. So we're on the formation lap, of course, but Nicolas Milan going from 6th position today. Just remember the cars scoring points here, not only for the Clio Cup Series, but also some scoring points for the France and Spanish championships as well. The French Series will be out with us again in Hockenheim in 2 weeks' time. It's where we'll see the first outing of the Mid-Europe Championship runners as well. But for now, we have the same championships out that we had at Nogaro a couple of weeks ago for the opening meeting of the season for the 2024 Clio Cup Series. Be still 34 cars making their way towards the first corner. This 5th generation car with new front bodywork for this year to reflect its road car counterpart, but still powered by the same 1.3-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that produces around 200 brake horsepower to those front wheels. Michelin tyres putting that power down through a 5-speed sequential gearbox. Remember, Nicolas Milan, championship leader, going from 6th position. Gabriele Torelli, first double pole sitter of the season. He started from pole yesterday. He's doing the same today, and it is reigning champion David Pouget that starts alongside him. Gabriele Torelli got the reigning Mid-Europe champion going from the front of the field. Anthony Gerardo on double duty this weekend from 3rd position, also racing in the Alpine Elf Cup Series that is with us. But Gerardo, the 2022 European champion, was leading the championship going into this weekend after winning the first race of the season at Nogaro, but he lost the lead to Milan after his victory yesterday. It was his first of the season for the multiple champion. Only way to describe him when you see the list of accomplishments he has in Clio Cup France, Spain, Europe, and indeed the series as well. Class coming up to the end of the formation lap. It'll be a standing start for the Clios, unlike with the Alpines. And there is our championship leader, Nicolas Milan, in the Castro-coloured Milan competition car that starts from 6th on the grid, behind the junior pole sitter Pierre Bredoux in the 58 Compt Racing car. And that challenger pole position going to Guillaume Mayo. We'll be opening a repeat of his heroics from Nogaro, where he took the win from Nicolas Milan by just 45 thousandths of a second with a last gasp overtake. Made up 1.6 seconds on the final lap to take victory away from the multiple champion. Gabriele Torelli will be on the right-hand side in that white and red car. The white and yellow car of David Pouget will be alongside him. Remember, Torelli was getting a little bit roughed up in yesterday's race. He had a fantastic moment at turn 2, up on 2 wheels and sideways for good measure as well. As it's taking an awfully long time to get the grid together, as you might expect with 34 cars lining up on the grid. It takes a while to get them all round this circuit, but we'll keep an eye on the overall standings as well, of course, the junior, challenger and gentleman classes as well. And of course, remember, drivers scoring points for also the French and Spanish championships here this weekend. It is 1 European championship and 4 regional championships as well. But we've got the green flag being waved at the back, and we await the lights for the second race of the weekend in the Clio Cup Series to get underway. The lights are out. We are racing in Portimao. Good start is made by Gabriele Torelli. He moves across to the right-hand side to try and cover off David Pouget, who doesn't take it lying down. He goes to the outside line, but it's a brave man who goes around the outside of the first corner in Portimao. So it is Gabriele Torelli who leads the way going into the first corner. Alexander Finkelstein has taken third place away from Anthony Gerardo. They rise up the hill through turn 4. Guillaume Mayo going around the outside there and running wide on the exit of turn 4. And that was the car on challenger pole position. Remember, at quite a bit ahead of his nearest class rival. Still Torelli who leads going down into turn 4. Few locking brakes, but generally keeping it very neat and tidy throughout the field, but we're only a few corners into the race. Give it time, and I'm sure we'll see the usual Clio Cup chaos start to unfurl. It's got a move being made there by one of the Schimpf twins, 113 up on the inside. That's Adrian Schimpf. They were both on the podium in the junior class yesterday. So, Torelli leads them through turn 11 for the first time of asking, and now that looked like the Schimpf car getting all out of shape. Might have been the sister Schimpf car of Alejandro Schimpf getting all out of shape, but Adrian is going side by side down in towards turn 13, and it is the number 60 of Leonardo Arduini that he is going wheel to wheel with, the yellow car that was on the inside at turn 13. So he has been able to come out on top, but Adrian Schimpf trying to get back up on the inside. So much ground they've lost to the pack ahead of them, but as they round that final corner, big moment for Arduini there as he came around the final corner, splits the two Schimpf twins. Going down the front straight, and that's going to be quite a big moment coming down there. But as they complete the first lap, Gabriele Torelli leads by 0.6 of a second to Alexander Finkelstein. Pierre Bredoux still leads the junior classification. Anthony Gerardo down to 5th position. Nicolas Milan in 6th. Looked like Milan was trying to make a move. Then Guillaume Mayo leads this second train of cars. That's a second back from the top 6, ahead of Jack Byrne and Florian Venturi. And then this battle between Adrian and Alejandro Schimpf and Leonardo Arduini, Lorenzo Van Riet and Nikola Milkovic right in there as well. And into the back of Alexander Finkelstein has gone Pierre Bredoux, I think it was. And Finkelstein did a fantastic job to gather that one up. It went sideways and swapped back a number of times going under braking into turn 5, but nicely gathered up. And unfortunately, we have lost the number 372 of Andrea Chirichetti. Somewhere in the gravel trap. That is the car that was second in the Spanish gentleman classification going into this weekend. See, Gerardo here has got Milan for close company, and we've got a safety car being deployed for Chirichetti's car. Couldn't quite spot where that was in the on the circuit. Somebody's brought an awful lot of gravel from turn 10 back onto the circuit. So, safety car conditions, not for the first time this weekend. And here we're going to see, hopefully, what happened to Chirichetti. It was contact with the number 95, which is Gael Rostar. And, Rostar ended up in the gravel himself, but it looks like he managed to get it going, whereas Chirichetti has ended up beached down there, unfortunately. So, if we... we've had a safety car once again, but if we manage to go through this race without a red flag, that will be the first time this season at the 4th attempt. In fairness, one of them was due to a downpour in the middle of the race, and the other one was quite late in the race as well, so not fair to judge too much really there. But here's how it looks at the start of lap number 3 under safety car conditions. Gabriele Torelli continues to lead for Rangoni Corsa. David Pouget, reigning champion, sits there in second place ahead of the junior class pole sitter Pierre Bredoux in 58. Anthony Gerardo and Nicola Milan have both moved up a spot at the expense of Alexander Finkelstein after he had that big moment getting run into the back of going out into turn 5. He's in 6th position ahead of the challenge class leader Guillaume Mayo in 7th. Then the junior championship leader Jack Burns is in 8th ahead of Florian Venturi, and Adrian Schimpf completes the top 10. And that incident between Chirichetti and Rostin is under investigation. The one that took Chirichetti out of the race into the gravel trap, and is what has brought out the safety car for this race. Will be investigated by the stewards. No real surprise there. It was contact that led to Chirichetti's car being put into the gravel trap. We see Guillaume Mayo there in that red nose number 99 car. Car that won in Nogaro by just 45 thousandths of a second, and Mayo racing for his own team. Very much regular in the Clio Cup Championship, and has been since 2019. Having previously raced in the French GT4 Cup before that, and in the Peugeot 208 Racing Cup as well. We have a number of drivers that have come over or had success in that particular series before. A significant number of French drivers on the grid with the French Championship racing here this weekend, alongside the Spanish Championship and the series. It's a slightly different format to the Clio Cup Series compared to last year. It's one European Championship and 4 regional championships that each have 5 race meetings made up of 10 races in total, and 4 regional championships being Italia, France, España and Mid-Europe. And the big difference as well is no more drop rounds as well for this year. Now in our 3rd season of Clio Cup Series, and we've had 2 more years confirmed by Alpine Racing, and we will also be racing more alongside the Alpine Elf Cup Series at their 6 meetings as well, like we are this weekend as well. As these drivers all fighting for, to get a slice of the €270,000 prize fund. Overall champion getting a new Clio Cup car, €5,000, and 5 free entry fees as well for 2025. And they can have a test in the Alpine A1 Cup car as well. They can have all of that, or they can go for half a season in the Alpine Elf Cup Series, and each of the regional champions getting a prize fund as well, and some entry fees, and a test in the Alpine Cup car as well. Still under safety car conditions as we start lap 4. 25 minutes plus 1 lap, as we mentioned, and they're going pretty slowly through the incident zone there at turn 3, because we've got recovery vehicles on site. So, Gabriele Torelli leading David Peugeot. Torelli, the Italian driver, 33 years old, who was second in the championship going into this weekend, part of the Rangoni Corsa 1-2 that was led by Anthony Gerardo in the opening race of the season in Nogaro. The first double pole sitter as well for this season. Pierre Bredoux leading the junior classification as well. The junior classification being for drivers under the age of 23 in in that number 58 machine, and that's a car that had pole position for the first race in Algarve, but it failed scrutineering as the exhaust silencer didn't meet the mandatory weight. So he has to make up some ground from there, and has been doing so ever since, and did so with the junior class win yesterday. Speaking of drivers that came from the 208 Racing Cup in France, well, he was champion in 2022 and then made his way into the Clio Cup Europe last year, finishing 8th in the Challenger standings. Now, those of you a bit more familiar with the classes, because the Junior Cup is for drivers under the age of 23 and the Challenger Cup for drivers between the ages of 23 and 44 who are less accomplished. How can you be in the Challenger Cup one year and then Junior the next? Well, they've changed the rulings on that since last year. Safety car is coming in. We are about to go racing once again, and Gabriele Torelli will put his foot to the floor, unleashing all 200 horsepower from the 1.3-litre turbocharged four-cylinder engine. David Pouget running very, very wide on the exit of the last corner. That gives Torelli a bit of a reprieve, really, and might put the reigning champion under pressure, but Torelli still doing his signature defence. We saw him doing a lot of yesterday. 4 cars going absolutely wheel to wheel. Peugeot's lost 2 places here, and it's Pierre Brédot that's come out in 2nd place. He's passed Anthony Girardo as well. Yeah, Peugeot down into 4th position there after a difficult restart. Anthony Girardo trying to get on the back of Pierre Brédot now to take the overall podium position. Looking towards the inside, going down into turn 5, and Brédot's going to have to leave him a fair bit of space. Going to be very tight on the exit of the corner. And it is Gabriele Torelli leading the way. Pierre Brédot in 2nd, Anthony Girardo in 3rd. David Pouget back up to speed in 4th position. Nicolas Milan now in 5th position, and Alexander Finkelstein hoping to get back moving forward again after that moment at turn 5 earlier on. Jack Byrne close behind as well, 2nd of the juniors as well. He's leading the championship in that category, and he's closely followed by Guillaume Mayo as well in 8th position. Everyone's being extremely well behaved, but we've got Guillaume Mayo there on the back of Jack Byrne. Going into turn 10, rising back up the hill now towards turn 12. Guillaume Mayo also being the Challenger Championship leader going into this race as well, and leading that class is now in that the red-nosed car. Jack Byrne, the Irishman, former rallycross driver in Ireland, now competing in Europe, having seen some success in Ginetta Juniors in Ireland, moving over to the UK to compete in Mini Challenge, and now racing in Europe in the Clios. Still Torelli who leads, but again, really trying to break the toe of the cars behind, and Anthony Girardo fancies 2nd place down the inside in that white and red number 5 machine on the inside of Pierre Brédot, and he does in fact go through, and it is a Rangoni Corsa 1-2 like we saw in Nogaro, just the other way around, with Gabriele Torelli leading Anthony Girardo. Nicolas Milan kicking up a little bit of dust there at the apex of turn 4. Seen any of the other series doing that. Must just be a Clio thing. But he's under pressure from behind, and that's Alexander Finkelstein getting up the inside and taking 5th position away from Nicolas Milan, the championship leader, as Guillaume Mayo still on the back of Jack Byrne, but he's also got Adrian Schimpf for very close company as well. And here we see Milan on the back of that number 23 machine from GPA Racing. But Milan down a spot, not quite what we expected to see. Yesterday's race winner getting passed by Finkelstein. Heading through the double right-hander at turns 10 and 11 once again. Looked like a little bit of a moment there for Pouget in 4th position as they bottomed out coming down the hill. It's a real roller coaster, this Portimao circuit. It's great stuff. Great to see the Clios out here. First visit for the Clio Cup Series to Portimao in its modern guise. See, we have these different packs of cars that are battling with one another. Gabriele Torelli checking out at the front of the field, 9/10 of a second clear the last time we had the timing marker at the end of there. Oh, big moment there for Jack Byrne by the looks of it, and we're going to go 3 wide down the straight as Guillaume Mayo picks him off very easily, and Adrian Schimpf fancies a bit of the action as well, as Anthony Gerardo has to go defensive into turn 1 against Pierre Bredoux. No change there. We've got a 4th car entering the field there as well, as the Adrian Schimpf car picks off all of them. Then comes Jack Byrne, who's retaken Guillaume Mayo there, and now we have Florian Venturi coming down the inside as well on Guillaume Mayo down at turn 3. He gets pushed out wide. So Mayo, after trying to make up 1 place, has ended up losing 3 and is down to 10th position. How quickly it can change, but Gabriele Torelli really checking out the front now, 1.2 seconds clear of Anthony Gerardo in 2nd place. Looks like David Pouget was trying to make a move there. He got some good momentum off the hairpin against Pierre Bredoux, but nothing doing by the time they get down to the right-hander. Fastest up of the race, unsurprisingly, by Gabriele Torelli. 9 minutes plus 1 lap to go. It goes by very, very quickly. Here we see the 113 Adrian Schimpf, one of the 2 twins racing in this championship in 7th position, 2nd amongst the juniors, but we rejoin the lead pack. Anthony Gerardo in 2nd place, still soaking up the pressure from Pierre Bredoux. David Pouget looking towards the inside, makes contact with Bredoux. Bit of a bump and run there down at turn 13, and Alexander Finkelstein fancies some of that as well, trying to come round the outside, but didn't quite manage to make that work against the junior class leader, but gets a lovely up and under, side by side. They bang doors going into the final corner, and Finkelstein does find his way through in the end. Aboard that GPA Racing number 23 machine. He's been racing in Clio Cups for the last 3 years, specifically the French Championship, and using that experience very well there to get himself up into 4th position. Very little at all separating those cars as they make their way back down again, and Pierre Bredoux fancied trying to get back again. Guillaume Mayo locking up, going down into turn 1. He's managed to stay ahead of Alejandro Schimpf and Leonardo Arduini, and Jack Byrne there as well. Florian Venturi is the car ahead that he's trying to challenge aboard his number 99 car. And so suddenly Alejandro Schimpf is the car that's joined this battle as well. Lead gap still 1.2 seconds against Anthony Gerardo and David Pouget, who has started to pull away from Alexander Finkelstein, Pierre Bredoux and Nicolas Milan, while they've been squabbling over that 4th position. There we see leaves a little bit of a swapper there for Anthony Gerardo, who'll be out a little bit later for the Alpine Elf Cup race as well. And that incident between Pierre Bredoux and David Pouget is under investigation. There could be a penalty coming David Pouget's way. It did look like a little bit of a bump and run, trying to get up the inside into turn 13, but we'll see what the stewards say. These 3 cars falling off the podium battle now. Finkelstein leads Bredoux and Milan in this battle for 4th position. The 23 car from GPA Racing, the 36-year-old Frenchman, who leads the 21-year-old Frenchman, the junior driver, and then at the back of that pack, the multiple champion Nicolas Milan, the most successful driver in Clio Cup racing from Sinon in France. And we have a drive-through penalty for our reigning champion, David Pouget. for that contact with Alexander Finkelstein. They have come down hard and heavy on the reigning champion as Nicolas Milan looks to make a move on Pierre Bredoux going into turn one, but nothing doing there. But yeah, for David Pouget, the car currently in third position, he is suddenly going to plummet down this order because a drive-through penalty will be, well, that'll drop him outside of the top 25, I'd imagine. Now look who's quietly joining the scene there. The car second in the junior category, Adrian Schimpf in the 113 car, not too far off the back of these guys squabbling over fourth position now. And that is the reigning Clio Cup Spain and Europe champion in the Challenger class, but now competing in the junior category. 5 minutes plus a lap to go. Oh, also a drive-through penalty for car 50, which is Pierre Bredoux. Both cars have been given a drive-through penalty according to my timing screen, which is slightly unusual. Not sure what the penalty for Bredoux would be. But there it is, confirmation at the bottom of the screen as well. Okay. If it's for the same incident, that's a very unusual decision, but maybe it's for something else that we just haven't seen yet. But so, well, that's the guys in third and fifth. And the junior class leader as well. So Adrian Schimpf will assume the lead of the junior classification when he comes in to serve his penalty. Which surely won't be long now. We're coming up to the last couple of laps of this race. We've got 3 more laps to go with 4 minutes plus 1 lap of racing still to complete. Leaders heading back down towards turn 1. Torelli's lead still hovering around 1.3 seconds ahead of Anthony Girardo. And that is Nicolas Milan on the inside of Pierre Bredoux, who finds his way through into 5th position into turn 1. And Adrian Schimpf right on the back of them as well, trying to follow through on Milan's path. They're going to go side by side into turn 4. Schimpf is going to get squeezed out there on the outside, and Pierre Bredoux is carrying damage on the back right corner there. That's hanging off. That might invoke the attention of the stewards and the mechanical warning flag, but he's going down the inside. Oh, we've got a car off as well. It's Gael Rostin for the second time in the gravel trap. Remember, he caused the, well, not caused, but had contact with Andrea Chirichetti and went through the gravel as well. That's what brought out the safety car, and the safety car's back out again. Now, stuff's coming through quicker than I can speak, because we were just watching Adrian Schimpf. He now has a 5-second penalty for track limits. So that's going to drop him out of contention for the junior victory as well. So maybe it'll be Florian Venturi who will come out on top. But safety car is back out on track. And depending on how quickly they can extract Gael Rostin's GPA racing car, we might well end under safety car, because we've only got 2.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. That plus 1 lap might just save us, depending on how quickly they can get that car out of the gravel. Of course, Gabriele Torelli's hard work at building that 1.3 second advantage will be undone. Anthony Girardo will be back on his tail. And, well, I'll tell you what's worse as well. David Pouget and Pierre Bredoux cannot serve their drive-through penalties either. So if we do end under safety car, we will likely have to turn that into a time penalty, which usually is a little bit harsher. But also, because we're under safety car, they will lose out any chance of getting any sort of decent result. Looked like it was just a spin for Rostin. Like the final corner at turn 15 there. So yeah, this is really a disaster for Pouget and for Bredoux, and also for Adrian Schimpf, whose 5-second time penalty for track limits is suddenly going to be worth an awful lot more. He currently leads the junior classification, but once that 5-second penalty gets applied, he will drop out of the top 15 as it stands. There we can see that damage on the front right corner for Pierre Bredoux. still circulating out there. Hasn't caught the attention of the mechanical warning flag just yet. And this will be the penultimate lap of the race then. So unless we go green on this lap, we will end on the safety car, sadly. It's Gabriele Torelli leads Anthony Gerardo and Alexander Finkelstein on the overall podium ahead of Nicolas Milan. And then provisionally, Adrian Schimpf leads the junior category. They're all lying astern in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th at the moment. That's Pierre Bredoux, Florian Venturi, and Alejandro Schimpf. Then Guillaume Mao still in 9th as the challenger class leader. And the safety car is coming in this lap. It is going to be a 1-lap dash to the finish line for this race. And Torelli's already trying to build up his gap before the safety cars even come in. So, heading up to turns 10 and 11, safety car will peel off very shortly, and it will be 1 lap to take us to the finish. Gabriele Torelli leads Anthony Gerardo. It's a Rangoni Corsa 1-2 as it stands, as it was in Nogaro, but this time it's Torelli leading Gerardo. Alexander Finkelstein and Nicolas Milan in hot pursuit behind. Safety car comes through the picture, and Gabriele Torelli will lead them once again for the second time in this race on a safety car restart. Clock has hit 0, and the Italian will put his foot to the floor. He's leaving it very, very late if he hasn't gone already, but now we've got Pierre Bredoux coming in probably to serve his drive-through penalty. He'll be out of the running side by side now between the 2 Rangoni Corsa cars. Anthony Gerardo on the inside takes the lead of the race at the start of the final lap. Is that a tactical move from Gabriele Torelli, I wonder? He didn't look like in any big hurry as Arduini gets a tap, gathers it up, gets another tap, and gathers that up as well. Gerardo leads Torelli. Car number 23, Alexander Finkelstein, right in there as well. Nicolas Milan, watch out for him. He's a wily old fox who excels in these circumstances. Adrian Schimpf still holding 5th position for now. Remember, he's got a 5-second penalty for track limits. Heading down towards turn 5 once again. Plenty of cars fanning out across the circuit further down the order. Nothing doing at the front of the field, though. Anthony Gerardo continues to lead out of turn 5. His teammate, Gabriele Torelli. So we're back with the situation that we saw at Nogaro a few weeks ago. Gerardo cocking his wheels, coming through turns 7 and 8. Still plenty of squabs going on further down as the number 35, Thomas Campan, got up on 2 wheels going into turn 8, side by side with Jack Byrne and Nikola Milkovic further back as well, coming through turn 10. Back with the leaders though. 1 big stop left, and it looks like Gabriele Torelli, he's drawn alongside there side by side, coming through the kink at turn number 12, but the inside line will be Anthony Gerardo's going into the braking zone at turn 13. It's the last big stop on the circuit, and it is still Gerardo who leads, coming through into the final couple of corners. Could well be a drag to the finish line. Gerardo kicking up some dirt, getting some grass, such as his eagerness to get through to the apex of the corner. 1 corner left. Who's going to come out on top on this one? Oh, a big slide for Gabriele Torelli in his eagerness to try and chase Gerardo down. That might have just cost him the momentum he needs. Checkered flag is out, and it meets Anthony Gerardo first, who leads a Rangoni Corsa 1-2 finish ahead of Gabriele Torelli. Alexander Finkelstein in 3rd place with Nicolas Milan in 4th position. Top 4 separated by 0.6 of a second in the end. Great end to the race and a great last corner move for Anthony Gerardo to dispatch of Gabriele Torelli. A few laps ago, you wouldn't have said that when Torelli was 1.3 seconds clear of the rest of the field. But for Anthony Gerardo, it is a 2nd victory of the season, backing up his win from Nogaro. And once again, it's a 1-2 finish with Gabriele Torelli in 2nd place. And that should well put him back at the lead of the championship as well, as the man from Montpellier was leading going into this weekend. Lost it yesterday after Milan's victory. But this is just the sort of thing he needed to take it back. in the junior category. We can take you through the full results. Anthony Gerardo leads a Ranconi Corsa 1-2 ahead of Gabriele Torelli and Alexander Finkelstein and Nicola Milan in fourth. Florian Venturi taking the junior class win, and Guillaume Mal taking the challenge victory there as well. Alejandro Schimpf second in the junior, and then Nikola Milkovic second in challenge. Damiano Puccetti third in the junior category, and then Jack Byrne completing the top 10. Ludovico Longoni third amongst the challenge runners as well. Further down, we have Adrian Schimpf, Manuel Fernandez, and then Stefan Polderman. That's back-to-back gentleman class victories for him by just 0.3 of a second to Mikkel Kari and Quinto Stefana as well. Only 0.6 of a second separating those three cars. Mauro Polderman did get up to 20th place in the end, bit of damage limitation there. Benjamin Kovat, Cedric Delcroix, Calvin Comte Nava, and Samuel Chalin. A bit further down, Pierre Bredoux after his penalty. Gabriele Alonso further down as well. Of course, no points there for David Pouget after his drive-through penalty for contact with Pierre Bredoux earlier in the race. Just not quite sure what the Bredoux penalty was for. We've got more cars under investigation. Thankfully, nothing that affects the front of the order, but the Ludovico Longoni MC Motor Technica car and the number 60 of Leonardo Arduini are under investigation. That might have been for the bumping we saw at turn 1 at the start of the last lap. Anthony Gerardo, for the second time this season, exits his car as the winner in the Clio Cup Series, ahead of Gabriele Torelli. And yeah, he will hug his teammates, and a good battle they had there. Really, that was the only time Torelli didn't look like he was in absolute command of the race. But a great day for Ranconi Corsa, who of course make another one to finish. That'll do them very well in the Teams Championship, which they're currently leading. They extend their advantage there. Alexander Finkelstein for GPA Racing joining them on the podium as well. Once again, I wish I spoke French to understand what on earth they were saying to one another. But, just talking a bit about the race. Very cool, bare black carbon helmet there for Anthony Gerardo. Very bare bones. Here's a look back at the highlights of the race then. Gabriele Torelli, for the second time this weekend, led them from pole position. It was David Pouget who was challenging initially from the front row of the grid, and Anthony Gerardo having to try and climb up the order, having started from third position. Very clean stuff at the front of the field, but we had a safety car come out a little bit later. There was some scuffling further up, and this is why we had the safety car out. It was contact between Gael Rostin and Andrea Chirichetti. Bit of a moment here for Alexander Finkelstein. Ended up on the podium anyway after surviving that, and yep, we had the safety car come out for another incident. A last lap dash to the finish line. So Guillaume Mayo tried to get up on the 158 car, and then this contact here between David Pouget and Pierre Bredoux. Ultimately, both cars ended up with a drive-through penalty. Nicolas Milan having to flex his muscles against Adrian Schimpf and Pierre Bredoux. And then more problems for Rostin as he was put into the gravel, and that was the second safety car. Then we had the one-lap dash to the finish, in which Anthony Gerardo nabbed the lead on the restart going into turn 1 and defended for all it's worth going around the rest of the lap. And it was another Ranconi Corsa 1-2 finish, as it was a few weeks ago in Nogaro. And great stuff with Anthony Gerardo leading Gabriele Torelli. Alexander Finkelstein on the podium for the first time this season, I believe. Yes. So, great day for Finkelstein, the 36-year-old Frenchman. We will have the podium now, as Anthony Gerardo will stand on the top step for the second time this season. Of course, pole position in Nogaro as well a few weeks ago. The reigning Clio Cup Europe champion, or sorry, the 2022 Clio Cup Europe champion, I should say. Putting in a great effort for the Clio Cup Series title this year. So hopefully we'll see the drivers on the podium soon. And yep, that sounds like they're being announced now. So we'll start with Alexander Finkelstein, car number 23 for GPA Racing, his first visit to the podium this season. He's been racing in the Challenger Cup for the last couple of years, was second in those standings last year amongst the Clio Cup France runners, but now racing in just the overall championship. Scoring points for the Clio Cup France. Gabriele Torelli in second place, second in the championship going into this weekend. Plenty of success in the France Championship last time out. Anthony Gerardo, though, the Frenchman from Montpellier, the 29-year-old, will be on the top step of the podium once again, and the Ranconi Corsa team representative collecting the trophy as well for another 1-2 finish in the Clio Cup Series. One wonders how different the field will look once we introduce the Mid-Europe cars instead of the Spanish cars at the next round in Hockenheim, which is coming up in 2 weeks' time. After that, we head to Misano and Spa, Magny-Cours, Barcelona, Paul Ricard, and Monza for the season finale. It's a fantastic calendar that we have for this year. And now the French national anthem. Just getting word as well that potentially Bredoux's drive-through was for lap 1 incident with Alexander Finkelstein. Well, we'll see in the stewards report later, won't we? In the meantime, it's Anthony Gerardo on top in the Clio Cup Series. And the championship returns in Hockenheim in 2 weeks' time.